to your account. All right. Upcoming. Has it started yet? Here. All right, here we go. That down. The controls for the stream go. Oh, well, find them afterwards, I guess. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is just a side note. This was a pretty cool AI-powered docs. This is the thumbnail that I used for the stream on Gemini using, I guess they called it Banana. But that's not really why I'm here. What I really want to talk about. I want to learn in public around how we can give better prompts to large language models to get better diagramming out of them. I've covered a tool chain in the past. I'm not going to go over right now, but just a quick explanation of the setup. It's Open Web UI in a Docker container on my local machine. I have another couple things that I can connect, but right here, I have Open Web UI connected directly to OpenAI and GPT chat. Side note, this seems to be performing quite a bit better than the regular chat application, and I don't know why. It's super responsive, but let's see what we think. Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to learn in public. It's kind of why we're just riffing here. We're going to use GPT-5, not through GitHub Copilot. It's a little bit off, but we're going to use it through Open Web UI, which has MermaidJS capabilities built in. It is one of my favorite things to use. One that I had used a lot in the past is PlantUML, but Mermaid seems to be adding capabilities and functionality at a much faster rate. So let's see. Set up Copilot GPT-5 prompt. Why prompts differ for type. Generate sequence markdown live with AI. All right. So the cool thing about this, and maybe we'll do a new chat in another tab. Because what we want to go back to new history. How well do you know Mermaid? And that's what I got the idea for. So I had worked on a prompt this morning, and I realized I kind of made a snafu because it wasn't generic enough for all of the MermaidJS syntax. And I think it says something here. I didn't start with a prompt. I said, how well do you know MermaidJS? It's like, oh, pretty well. Sorry for the... Well, let's go through what GPT-5 said out of the box, right? So we're learning in public. Here, how well do you know Mermaid? Oh, yeah, I'm quite familiar, right? So then it goes on to say, here's a different variety of diagrams, flowchart, sequence diagrams, class diagrams, state diagrams, ERDs, Gantt charts, pie charts, user journey maps, or diagrams, mind maps, and get graphs, right? So, hey, it tested it out. Here you can see that it renders in the UI. That's why I love Open Web UI. In the past, I had customized it so we could do a deep link. And here's a pretty handy, I just have a naming convention. I also have in my Docker Compose, I have a large set. So here, if I wanted to do, anything else, I have it available, and I can switch between my Open Web UI and a local. So sometimes what has happened in the past, and that's kind of what sparked this sort of learning, was it would always have syntactic errors that you'd have to correct. So I had been working on this, but then I think it's even more specific to the diagram type, because what works for a sequence diagram, as it relates to naming conventions, special characters, displaying emojis, does not necessarily translate to the other types of diagrams. For instance, a class diagram, or just a regular flowchart. So that's kind of what sparked this latest iteration. is, hey, how well do you know it? Show me. Would you be able to write complex sequence diagrams with nested loops? Hey, it seemed to do pretty well at that. You know, here you can download it in SVG because that's how it renders it behind the scenes. We don't have to go into that. Here it is, cool. But, you know, emojis look pretty neat. It tells us a little bit about what it was using. How about emojis? Sure. Then it gives us a flowchart with some emojis. Great. Or in a sequence diagram. I think this is pretty neat. So you could set this in like a default prompt for your particular style of how you would want your documentation to be represented, let's say. What do you think about naming conventions? I think this is something that I think is kind of best practice. Great question. I like Python naming conventions. You know, I'm not too religious about it. Use what works for you. Let's see. Consistent case just talks about some more of the semantic stuff. Group logical sections, avoid spaces and IDs. All right, now let's get into, or do you want to show, yep, here we go, goes through, it goes complex samples around flowcharts, class diagrams, this is all great stuff. Here's where it starts to get interesting. It said state diagram with nested states and emojis. This is kind of what triggered me. I said, huh, well, it says with emojis. It doesn't look like it's with emojis for me. So then I just copy this to my clipboard and come over here to my local instance of MermaidJS, and sure enough, it has the emojis there, but it doesn't show them. It's not rendering them, so it just says browsing. Retry checkout. So this doesn't throw an error, but it just looked weird. So that's what kind of made me think, hey, you know what we should probably do is create a prompt or a series of prompt templates that we could use that sets the context for a particular diagram. So that's where we are, and that's why I wanted to do this. I think might have to treat each diagram as a different prompt. I don't think I can generate a generic MermaidJS prompt. It's a very sharp observation. Thanks. I could probably change that tone from the system prompt, but we'll go with sharp observation. So it isn't a single uniform language. It's a collection of mini languages: sequence, flowcharts, class, state, ERD, etc., etc. Each type has its own grammar, so generic prompt almost always fell short. It did, and it does. And that's why we're here, kind of learning out loud to make sure for the diagram types that we want to get prompts correct for. This is what I want to see. A quick demo of the prompt that I had this morning. I'll show you, just open the sidebar quickly. You can go to the workspace and you can go to prompts, right? I have a few MermaidJS prompt. Here's the one that I created, working on this morning. Had issues with special characters, replace, you know, and there's a bunch of things that I tried to generalize into this, but this was only with one particular set. So this was okay. Let me switch to another tip for those that are using OpenWebUI as well. GPT-5 is not the model you want to interact with or configure. It's GPT-5 chat, because that's set up to do the chat piece. You know, so here is kind of the demo of what I want to have happen. Here we have MermaidJS. That's it. It includes that. Show an example of this, right? So there you go. Seems to work out well, right? But what had happened is I had used this as the baseline for kind of just a generic set or a generic conversation I wanted to start about something else. I forget what it was. Probably has to do something with AI. Let's put it that way. So it fell apart, and that's kind of where we're back to what is the prompt strategy on a per diagram portion. So let's go through. Here's all the different things. Oh, here's where, let's see. Yep, generic prompt for shop observation, prompt strategy for each mermaid diagram type. Could specify participants, actors, systems, DB services for sequence diagrams, nesting logic, the events, example, generate mermaid sequence for participant, including nested retries. So, all right. Which one we want to do first? I like sequence diagrams for some reason. There's a cheat sheet. How about we do this? This is where I wasn't really going to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to. So Logos Notes before they have 5 mini. Add premium models. Find it. Sign in. Wrong account. Murphy at the Logos Lab. Actually, Google. Can't switch accounts. Account switcher. Add an account. Continue with Google. Because I'm signed into the wrong Google account. Okay. Go. Here. All right. So this is where I had done the thumbnail for this. This is image. It's banana. I don't know why they call it banana, but we'll leave that there. The GitHub. I'm in. My email? Yeah. Questions. Sections. Chat. Oh, add premium model. Add premium. Oh, all right, here we go. Ah, Copilot Pro. Oh, maybe I had the trial and trial ran out. Okay. What do we want to do now? Learning in public. Here we go. So I guess we'll just use the older models. Can we generate a complete set of prompts? Okay. Yes. 241 does. Certainly. All right. Is that right? What mode? Oh, I'm in ask mode. Agent mode. My bad. So, yeah, tell me more. User switch to agent mode. Rerun it. Rerun it? Or do it again? What? Agent mode, ready, you go. Certainly. To clarify, you're looking for a compensator. Yeah. Oh, do I have it not saved? Yeah, TLN. Correct. Let's see how big like the broader mermaid syntax would be. I would like single files for each. Okay. Well, all in one. All from instruction for mermaid. MermaidJS. See how this goes. Great. Here's the plan. I'll generate a curated prompt for each one. Create a diagram prompts, mermaid, green mermaid prompts. Didn't use mermaid cheat sheet, but whatever. Flow sequence. All right. I mean, we could expand these with some examples. Oh, you know what? I think GitHub actually has tools. We might be able to use the so if we use the mermaid starting tool, the flowchart, let's see, flowchart. How about this one? That would be fire, wouldn't it? Where's it working away? Over here. Generated, okay. Keep. Cool. Web. That's already enabled. Use this to find additional examples to blue. To include. Let's see. That would be cool. Let's see. Continue. Yeah, continue. Let's auto accept. Always allow in this session. Always allow in this session. Fetching. Go out. Stand it. Look at the sidebar. Parse. Right. Get graph. Yeah. Oh, all right. You get the others though? Oh, all right. Well, it's filling in all of the complete markdowns. Sorry if you don't know where I'm looking right over here. Google. Does it when I don't want it to do it. All right, it's off to the races. So take a look at sequence instructions, mermaid sequence structure. Not sure that's what I want. Maybe that's what I want. Here's the playground. Here's the flow chart. Give me the money. ERD, mindmap, texture. These are simple. All right. Well, I don't think we'll have time to finish that up because not only am I a technologist, but I am also a husband and a dad. Their obligation. So drafting a file, suggested prompt. All zero tasks is creating Markdown file. Be great. Probably work better. I could use Klein since I have access to that. We'll see what 4.1 does. Maybe that's the next the next takeaway here. Well, ideally, I'd like to get a set of prompts that, you know, the output of all of this learning would be something to the effect of MermaidJS. Probably have to go grab the sidebar so we can sort of see the vision. Working on this. I would really want it to go and fetch this specific one. All on radar tree. Workspace. Prompts. Add a new one. Call it mermaid. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah. One. All one. Contact. Boom. Didn't create. Prompt created successfully. MermaidJS all in one. Generate one of each. Please. No. Look at this. That's what I'm saying. The performance from the API, it looks like the sequence instructions. Where was I? Oh, this is only instructions. All on Mermaid guide. Let's see. So just the way Open Web UI works, I was able to do this. Let me just try it. Better. That's better. User server here. Here's the samples that we're going through. Did any of the samples choke? All right. All in one Mermaid instructions. This is in the prompt file. It gives you this. I think that's not bloating the context too bad. If you know you're going to do a lot of diagramming, user journey. Okay. Gantt chart. So far, so good. Requirements diagram falls flat. All right. Like to see why things fall flat. And function got type. Yeah, that's a little funny. Where were we? All right, here we go. Sorry, I zoomed in a little bit. Requirement diagram died. Mind map was good. Timeline looks good. Quadrant chart looks good. Now that was all the samples, right? Start registration, sequence diagram. Cool. Class diagram, date diagram. ERD, no bueno, no good. Not bad. Requirement diagram, that's fine. I don't, not bad. Not the quadrant chart. Cool. Also, well, this errored out here too, and this is the newer version. So what I had thought was sometimes Open Web UI ships with a specific version of MermaidJS, which is a whole nother conversation. Before I wanted to update it so it had a more recent version of MermaidJS. It's been fairly consistent, so you can either just wait and pull it when it gets rolled in. So that's always good. It's pretty well up to date. It looks like this would be good. And now you can build on top of this, right? So we could take those individual prompts if we wanted something different for theming or, what have you. This would be good. But it would also be good is, I'm a solution architect by day. So if we had, well, let's just say we have, all right, learn in public here. Generate a simple solution design prompt. Open UI. Simple. Got it. All right. So now, keep it clear and practical. The end goal would be go to the workspace. Here's the prompt. You know, do a solution design. And then we say, okay, paste this in here. More on prompt variables. I want to dive into that. But here we save and create. Then in a new chat, we can go solution design. Right? Yeah. There you go. And then mermaid, all in one. And we mock solution design is a spa hosted in a CDN on AWS. Leveraging, you know, what do I want to look? Cognito. IDE. We would like to focus on the application authorization. Generate approach this using visual log. Okay, which one did I put in here? Yeah. Oh, all right. Visual elements. Thanks. All right. So we have our base documentation template. We have how we want to do things, and we could expand this out. So context is king. We could have like business context in here and pull it all in so that we can kind of orchestrate these prompts. Another thing we could do in the future, which I haven't done today, is you can modify some of the system prompts and some of the parameters. But that's something that I'm going to do a little more research on. I'll have another Logos Labs notes session. Kind of that's what I'm calling these. And we can go into that. I've tested out a few. I just don't have enough context to really describe what I've experienced. But I have experienced the different pieces for that. But let's see. Let's not wait anymore. Let's see what this prompt does. So here we are, sample prompt, solution design with some MermaidJS sprinkled in. So wrong model. See, wrong model. Boop boop boop. So it chokes. So that's not chat latest here. I gotta set that as default. I don't know why I did. End it again. Boom. Look at that. Ooh, look at this go. Now that's how cool it is. Boom, browser, redirect, Cognito. This is fire. If you've worked in technology, if you're an architect, an app architect, a lead dev, enterprise architect, it's really all about context engineering, which includes prompt engineering and how to bring things to bear. So here I have this, here's like my pro tip. You copy it to the clipboard. You go to VS Code. We say, we'll just create a new document somewhere in here. New, paste this in, save it as, SD Markdown. Close. Keep those. Close. Pull the chat away. There you go. And then there's tools where you can print this to PDFs, write it out if you need to put it in Jira or ADO or GitHub. The thing about these prompts is we could have it GitHub flavored Markdown, GitHub flavored Plant UML. It's kind of why I was leaning more towards the GitHub stuff or Mermaid as opposed to Plant UML. There's just some more work that has to happen. Even though I like some of the iconography, or what do they call them? Icons and sprites and things inside Plant UML, but this is where it's at. Very, very cool stuff. Close all these, see if we can get a full on this one. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So 2 prompts, a little bit of context, and there you go. In the future, if you have existing code bases, this is where it gets really interesting with GitHub Copilot to understand and search through a code base. You give it some information, like here's the code. Why don't we retroactively create a solution design with the following patterns? Helps you understand it, and then you can start to ask questions and visualize the code base. It's really, really cool stuff. So, all right, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining. Where's our little visual? Thank you for joining this session of AI-powered docs, MermaidJS Cheat Sheet. Yeah, learn in public. We use GPT-5 for, yeah, the most of it. We had a little bit of a snafu with GitHub Copilot and the version that I have. I was in the trial, you know, GoFundMe or something for, you know, the funding to keep these subscriptions alive. But anyway, thank you. And, you know, leave a comment or wait for the next one. It'll be the same format. I'm trying to get better at this, but learning in public. Let's keep going. A good person is always learning. Thanks. Take care.